Hey guys, it's Rachel Castile and welcome to Typology Corner. Today I'm going to be talking about the ESFJ type and I'm going to do it from the perspective of objective personality. So I'm going to go over the standard FESI type and then the FENE type, them preferring a different form of observation as like a go-to. The ESFJ, their functions overall is extroverted feeling, introverted sensing, extroverted intuition, and lastly, introverted thinking. This type is very attuned to the emotions, to the values of people around them. They are people kind of people. They are attuned to their tribe, to the people in their life, and have a desire to make others happy, to promote positive emotions in the people around them. And they really value connection. And how else can I word that? Yeah, connection of their tribe, connection with people. They have a heart to really see people get together, get along, and connect over something. So they are connectors, really. They value finding common ground with people in the moment and sharing emotions, sharing positive feelings. Extroverted feeling in the dominant position like this makes them prone to value this, to kind of foster this in the room, to foster positive, like a positive atmosphere, to check in on people. They want to know that other people are doing well, that other people are okay, and how to improve other people's states. They want to see that people are comfortable, that, yeah, they are just others thinking before the self. It's just their natural state of being is, yeah, they just have a value for meeting the needs of other people and checking in that other people are okay and kind of lifting the morale and things like that. Extroverted feeling is just attuned to what other people like, what they value, what matters to them, what would be offensive to them or things like that. Like they take note of those things and they have a like accommodating sort of trait about them that yeah, extroverted feeler doms and even people who have this function have this orientation, but it being in a dominant position, it makes them kind of like organizational in the sense of like getting the whole family together, seeing the whole perspective of society or whatever their community is, seeing that things accommodate, I keep saying, but yeah, that people are factored in and that decisions that they make honors the people in their life. And that comes first. So that's just kind of one side of them, but that being dominant, that's what they're most aware of. They will be aware of other people before making decisions on behalf of the self. So extroverted feeling is a decision making function. So the kind of life imbalance comes between self and tribe, that they are more tribe focused. So being more in touch with the self, their own personal reasons, the TI at the bottom, like their own personal thinking, their own ideas, their own belief systems. Yeah, that they are less inclined to make their decisions off of those sort of criteria or to even spend time developing that, being in touch with that. It can feel very like awkward to them to step away. It might even feel selfish to them to be in a space like that. Yeah, because they genuinely have other people in mind when making decisions primarily. So, being a dominant decider type, they have the gift of double observation. So in the middle, they have introverted sensing and extroverted intuition. And those are two functions that are accessible to them, still within, OP, they talk about saviors and demons. That's where we get into the standard and jumper type, is looking at which one is the go-to most times, that they're most comfortable living by, or gathering or organizing sort of differences. I'm going ahead and show you what that looks like. But so yeah, FE being the dominant function of both types. The standard, though, has the SI as a savior, and our jumper has the NE as a savior. So just to kind of go over that a bit and how that complements the extroverted feeling. So SI is the experiences that they've walked through, the things that works for them, the things that life has taught them. It's concrete things they've walked through that they've retained. It's like a subjective experiences. Like, it's what they walked away with. It's like the memory from the things that they've gone through that was meaningful to them. They very well could have read something to be negative, and that's categorized that way, or something was positive and it's categorized that way. It's just the filing cabinet of experiences and how they personally, like, subjectively assess that and organize those experiences and living true to that. That's what SI is kind of like. So again, these functions are serving the extroverted feeling. So it could be information about other people. It could be the likes and dislikes of other people, them remembering that, knowing that this person likes chocolates and they don't like flowers, or just remembering things they did in their childhood, traditions of their family, or just moments that were meaningful to them. SI has a nostalgic sort of quality to it. So it could be like movies they really liked watching growing up and remembering those. So re-experiencing positive experiences, like nostalgia, can be very, like, fulfilling to them, to bring up or to re-encounter something in their environment that brings up those positive experiences that they've retained from the past. And it could be holiday stuff, that, moments where they connected with their family, and redoing that or maintaining those types of experiences to, carry on to the next generation. It can cause them just to, like, appreciate those things, and in their time with the tribe, in their time with being with people, referencing those past enjoyed experiences and living them again, keeping them in their life in some way. So extroverted intuition is more of a gathering process. So it's kind of brainstorming and looking at new ways of looking at things, new ideas, new, just kind of like new conceptual connections outside of them. So it's not something in their known box, but it's going out and experiencing something new, going out and looking at things from another perspective. Really, that's kind of the creativity of that. Like, seeing what something could become. It's, it could be kind of inventive in that way. How that could, color the extroverted feeling is like new ways to be with the tribe, new ways to, just bringing creativity to the tribe experience. And this could be used in creating a business or something, or just, creative ways to kind of be with people. It can be like sense of humor in the moment is some way it can kind of manifest. It's like quirky ways of seeing things and sharing that and being with people. And it could be more spontaneous sort of function that could bring the ESFJ out of, like, the more routine and the mundane sort of things that they could enjoy, that, originates out of the SI, like the tried and true information. And he starts to expand them beyond that point and kind of opens their world up to new things. And it causes them to branch out. It causes them to move beyond the known, and yeah, kind of colors their personality in that way. It's like the full scope of information for them. It's the new, it's uh, the creative ways of looking at things. It's that combined with what is already known, and they're double observers. Both of these types, the standard and the jumper, are able to see both sides, but one is more comfortable. So, kind of exploring what that is like for the standard type. The standard is noticeably going to be guided more by. I have my light kind of flickering a bit. I don't like it. There we go. um, but yeah, I kind of described it from the perspective of the standard type, but having SI as a savior, they're going to be more routined. They're going to appreciate the things that they already know, the maintaining of it. Living by life experience is just going to make more sense to them. Staying true to what life has taught them, it would be unnecessary to break away from that whenever it's working for them. There is a tendency to want to order their life according to what their experiences have taught them. Like things in childhood or things that the family upheld and valued. Again, it's all serving extroverted feelings. So them knowing what their tribe valued, and if those were positive things to them, it will be very natural for them to carry that forward to the next generation, to want to find ways to incorporate that in their adulthood, or the recounting or retelling of those experiences are going to be something positive to them in maintaining things that their community, their group was about, in a sense. It's their experiences, if positive in the way that they categorized it, they will live true to it. Not to stereotype it, but that's generally what SI is like for types that have it high up like this. So in the standard type, then that extroverted intuition is just kind of, it shows up in other ways, but it doesn't supersede the introverted sensing. It's just like another add onto it. So the standard type has that like balance of introversion and extroversion, in that sense that they are honoring an introverted process, which is an organized process. So whenever they approach the outside world and making their decisions on behalf of the tribe, it honors the past. It honors the associative memories they have. Something I've described when it's in a dominant position, and it still is similar, that things that were somewhat negative to them, they will kind of weed that out of their life. They will want to stay in like a positive sort of place. They can feel on a body level how things around them are triggering old memories. So there is a tendency to want to somewhat avoid or weed out. And this is the using that internal organization function to then decide what to do, what to have in their outside world. It causes them to not want to gather. It causes them to honor the organized information as a guide of what to engage in, what to be a part of, what to do, what things in the future they want to be a part of is kind of based on what the past has taught them. So it's not a true gathering process. When you have an OE gathering dominant sort of observer process that you're using, you're way more open to the new, and it doesn't have to stay congruent with what the past has been. So that's where you start to get a difference. Like if we get into talking about, I'll kind of just keep contrasting the two, but talking about our jumper type, the difference here is if this is a savior, this SI process is not being, life isn't being filtered through it primarily. This jumper type will go out for something new whenever they're needing new information, or they're referencing information to make a decision on behalf of the tribe. They're going to go out and gather new things. They're going to hear new perspectives. They want to engage in something that they haven't already heard before. And they're much more open to the new information coming in, new connections, new ways of seeing things. It's kind of that in the moment seeing connections, a web of connections, and wanting to gather more. So yeah, your ESFJ jumper has more of a, P sort of orientation about them, like ESFP, but not ESFP because, that changes the function stack. So yeah, it's the jumper version of the ESFJ has a more gathering orientation and isn't as honoring of their upbringing, the past, the things that they've been through. They have more like, no, I want to hear something new. I'm gonna be informed by new information coming in. Push come to shove. When I'm looking to make a decision, I'm gonna reference and go back out into the world and hear something new. Think about a new way of looking at something. Intriguing new ideas, new perspectives. Yeah, they're more open to the abstract things that's coming in the moment, which makes them more extroverted. They have, they are relying on extroverted criteria to make a decision altogether. The people around them and then the information around them, taking in something new, and yeah, they're not as attuned. Again, the both functions are there. They see them both, but you know, by the way they live their lives, what are they choosing most times? This ESFJ is going to look different for sure from the standard ESFJ. Yeah, what else can I say about that? Yeah, a more extroverted dependent type. So they're a little less in touch with the inner world, the things they've been through, their personal experiences isn't actually guiding them in the way that it is for your standard ESFJ. Your ESFJ standard is the stereotypical MBTI type. Like a lot of the personality descriptions that are written, they're written around having SI very, very like prioritized, which is more traditional in the way that they serve people. It kind of, this type really just likes being there for people in a practical way. Just being supportive. They are just naturally factoring in others and maintaining things that other people value, maintaining what life has shown them to be valuable. They they will, I keep saying they maintain it, but like they uphold it. They're community people. They organize. You can see them organizing committees, organizing meetups and network groups and stuff. They're very, they can be just highly involved if they're really involved in their community, their city or something. It's like maintaining the get-togethers that happen around certain holidays, the connection of a community in ways that, carrying forward traditions that, it could be the parades in the city, being on the committee, being on the city council to maintain things that that mattered to society, that mattered to their family, that was positive memories growing up, things of that nature. So that SI is influencing those kind of structures, I guess, in the way that they do serve people. If it's, just cooking a meal for people, that was something that they valued or they saw that they loved as a child, they'll have an inclination to serve in those sorts of ways, to value those practical things, to just keep people connected, to bring people together. And then the ESFJ jumper is just a bit different. It's a bit, more fuzzy to me in describing what that looks like, but just more open, I think is the best way to say it. less inclined to maintain the past. And yeah. All right, now I'm going to get into the TI. TI is a common thing between the two. It's that last function. So it's a demon for both. What TI looks like in our ESFJ, this is also something that's true for our ENFJ. These are both the types that lead with extroverted feeling as a dominant process, which their kind of life gap is being in touch with the self and choosing the self along the way and presenting the self in the midst of their communities that, they're accommodating, looking out for, meeting the needs of. Their like greatest growth path is to be more in touch with their own personal reasons, to spend time defining what they personally believe, what are the like ideas and truths that they want to live by, and to I need some water. And to bring that forward in their community without like apologizing for it, to bring it forward even though it may be kind of underdeveloped, because the only way to develop it is to spend time on it, to communicate it, to let it start to guide the decisions you make as well, that your decisions aren't purely being made on behalf of everyone else and their reactions and what they need. So yeah, the greatest growth they can do is to take that time alone to kind of insert the self in the midst of the story that they're a part of, in the midst of the community, and not purely be focused on making others happy and checking in on how other people are doing. That's going to always be like an innate thing to you. It is your gift to be that in tune with people, but also just know that it's not selfish to bring yourself forward, to believe something different than your community, to build your personal understanding of something, live by it, communicate it, and get your foundations together of your own whys, your own, your own truths, really. And to allow that to manifest more, to then guide what communities you do choose to serve and how you choose to show up for people, that it can have the self that you are, the thing that does differentiate you from other people, to be incorporated, and it not be something that you have to like overly accommodate other people in order to be you. It's just to be you while also being there for people. It can kind of detach you from the validation seeking that comes from having a dominant extroverted decider, like extroverted feeling or extroverted thinking types have, if you're leading with that. EJs need to get more in touch with the self and disconnecting from the need for connection, and allow yourself to define the identity, define the self apart from others, apart from the collective, and to be able to rest in that, to be able to incorporate that in the life that you live, and allow the connection level that you're used to by sacrificing the self. Allow that connection level to come down. You'll feel it a bit, and let that be a new norm, that you have identity and connection, and not total connection with everything at the expense of self. I think that's probably the best way to describe that. That you know what you value, you know what is your truths, you know your beliefs, you know what works for you, you know your own understandings, and you can share that with people, and you can live by it and still show up for your people, still be a part of society. But growth is arriving to the point of knowing that it's not selfish to help some and not give yourself completely to people at the expense of your own personal development, your own personal path. Um, yeah. So that may sound incredibly difficult when your dominant process is others focused. You probably will be very aware of like the nuances of those changes in people, in seeing you change, in seeing you embrace something different um, along the way. But this is what balance looks like for your type. That you're not maxed out on others, on needing feedback and living by the feedback alone. Because then there comes a point of like, where do you stand on your own self, like your own base, apart from the feedback that you got? That's that developing of the TI. That's etching out the self in the midst of everything that you see about society, your family. Extroverted feeling could be attuned to all of those things, the trends, what's popular, what society deems appropriate in any given moment. Or so yeah, TI is detached logic, detached understanding, detached reasons that says it doesn't matter what anyone says about this. This is my truth. That's what TI is like. So yeah, the more you can get all of the feedback, hear everything that everybody else values, and then to still say, you know what, having heard all of that, this is still my truth. And this is what I'm going to live by. And the more you can give voice to that and stay true to that, you get this natural balance, because you have the gift of absolutely being able to serve people, being able to, extroverted feelers are very in tune with the emotions of other people. They are about creating positive connection. So they can start to create positive connection that honors them too, a bit more. And the only way to do that, you have to take time to even discover, what is the self? What do I value myself? What do I care about? What makes me me? And to spend time in that and bring that out. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good overview of our ESFJ. Yeah, they have a traditional side and then a creative, open-minded sort of that that middle coloration of honoring the nostalgic side of life in a sense. Or just even it's retaining details. It's retained details of the people around them, because they're mostly people focused. So honoring those things and then kind of breaking out of it, gathering new things, taking in new. So I guess one thing to add is just, the growth path is something I want to add. What does it look like for the standard type to grow into using the demon of any, and then vice versa? So yeah, stepping out of the known, the tried and true, to hear something new, to bring in new perspectives that totally are different than what their past has shown them, is a positive thing for our standard type. To hear another way of seeing things, and the more they take in something, kind of that new ideas from other people, from whether it could be watching movies, reading books, something that's outside of what they're raised in, what they're used to, they can incorporate those new experiences, those new life things that they've walked through. Either it could be literally trekking out on something that they would never do, like it's maybe taking on a job that's totally different than what they've done in their life. That could be NE in their life, something literally taking their life and exploring a new path. Can then be new SI. It's a new thing that's now in their past experience box by going out in NE, which, is not what they're inclined to do. That will expand SI to be even more expansive. The more new experiences that they can take in, new ways of looking at things, the more this SI doesn't become rigid, but it opens up even more. And this SI gift is a beautiful thing, and having a very well organized system of ways that they approach the world, it starts to just help them serve people better, helps them just develop more as a person. It's that holistic thing that we should be gathering and organizing. We should be a part of the tribe and know our identity. So it's just the incorporation of the other two. So that's a good path of expanding a person who is, you know, honoring of what they've been through. The more they can go through things that they are less inclined to even engage in, it starts to expand their perspective. And still, SI is the savior, and that's not going to change. But just, how you educate your SI more is to go and gather to expand it. That it's not just reproducing the tried and true only. The more you gather, the more you have new things in that filing cabinet of SI. And then for our jumper type, they can grow by looking at what they've been through and kind of slowing down and thinking that they don't already know enough information to make decisions. They can kind of back up from being majorly, out there in the extroverted world, and to spend time making sense of what they've been through already and looking through the concrete things that they've been through in their life, and honoring it a bit more to develop their inner world. To allow somewhat of, I'll call it the tradition, but incorporating what life has taught them, what their family has taught them, or looking at their life experiences a bit more, making sense of them, spending time in that area, sorting through it, coming to conclusions to organize their life out of known information, to kind of define that stuff a bit more, and allow it to guide their life without, always feeling they have to go run around and find something that they don't already know, that they can build a stronger base on the tried and true a bit. And just kind of get balanced in that way. They both have the same TI. So life growth for these types are the same, like the bigger thing in their life. But find ways to incorporate the observer that you're not using as much, and let it bring balance to your life. So so that's about it for the ESFJ today. Thank you for watching. If you got value out of this, go and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate the feedback, and subscribe for future content. If any of these functions is a bit fuzzy to you, also go to the channel and check out the cognitive functions playlist just to understand them a bit more. I elaborate probably for like 30 minutes on each of these functions, and you can get a bit of a clearer understanding and then see how they work within your type. If you'd like personal coaching of any sort based on your personality type, or you'd like to discover what your type is, if you want help in deciding where you land on the spectrum of the personality types, you can go to my website, typologycorner.com. The link is in the description. You can book a session with me, and I'd be happy to talk through whatever you like. So that's also available to you. And I think that's about it, guys. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.